With the 19th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select
The Leg Podcast.
This is LA.
This is Evan.
And I'm Jeremy B, the host. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of The Leg Podcast. Now, this is going to be a different episode. This is going to be mostly sports-based. Matter of fact, it's going to be 100% sports-based. This is going to be our recap of the NFL Draft, okay? The 2018 NFL Draft. Now, we was fortunate enough to be able to attend. And
Yes,
I think we all enjoyed ourselves, right, guys?
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
It was a lot of fun.
Despite the intense sunburn that I feel all over my neck and face.
I mean, you
I
do
got
look kind of
darker.
red.
I mean, I got darker. You know, if that makes you feel any better.
You do look kind of red. I think you should have put on, what is that?
I definitely should have reapplied sunscreen.
Yeah, what is it? The SPFA 528?
SPF 4 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, your forehead looks kind of red, man.
Yep. But other than that, it was a fantastic day. Really enjoyed walking around. It was... Some of the activities seemed like
was
they were
lacking. It
Yeah.
was lacking.
If anybody went out there were things like the NFL Museum was the one that I was just really confused
Disappointed.
by. Like, there was some cool stuff there. There were some busts. There were some, Heisman Trophy replica stuff. Like, that was all well and good. That was cool. But then they had these bejeweled, bedazzled helmets
crystal-like
spinning
helmets,
on
yeah.
platforms. And that was pretty much the entirety of the NFL Museum. And I was just like, that's not really what an NFL museum is. That doesn't really make sense.
I didn't really take a lot of pictures. Like, the only pictures I took was of the stadium because I never been. Well, I ain't gonna say I never been to AT&T Stadium. I just never seen AT&T Stadium up that close. So
Right.
I was mostly taking pictures of the stadium.
Go in and see all the stuff inside.
all the stuff
yeah.
inside and everything like that. But for the most part, yeah, it was lacking. It was very lacking. It was like going to the state fair and not being able to get on any rides.
I mean, there was other cool stuff like all of the athletic stuff. The test your vertical. Can you beat Kareem Hunt in a 40-yard dash? Like, that stuff was really well set up, really well designed.
Yeah.
It just
Right.
wasn't.
Well, I think it was more kid based type stuff, like, like you said the other day, like you can take your family out there. And,
Yes, it was really good for dads.
Yeah, but I mean, and another thing too, if you ever been to the NFL experience, like when they've had the Super Bowl, it's essentially the same thing, When we had the Super Bowl here in Dallas, we went. That was 10 years ago or something like that. We went, and it was essentially the same thing, except that was indoors and this was outside.
Yeah.
I mean, but overall, I guess it's one of those things where it's better to enjoy that kind of aspect with your family, Mm-hmm. I much more enjoyed us going inside the stadium,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we was able to watch some of the picks.
They had a really nice setup. Everything
Oh,
was
that
polished.
setup was
was
incredible.
nice.
That setup was very incredible. Now, somebody has said a long time ago, I forget, I think it was maybe 6 months ago, whenever we found out that the Cowboys was getting the draft at the AT&T Stadium, or the draft was going to be held in Dallas. Somebody said they was trying to do like a red carpet thing, where it'll be like a single line and then you walk down the red carpet. And I think they did the red carpet on the outside for the first round.
Yeah,
and the second round.
We showed up on day 3.
Yeah,
it's an entirely different.
Yeah, it's an entirely different ball game.
They do the red carpet, anywhere where they
Yeah,
have the
no,
draft,
but
so.
I was under the impression that the red carpet was going to be that's how the stage was going to be set up. It was going to be a red carpet kind of stage situation going on. So when a person got picked, they could walk down and then literally like walking down the red carpet in addition to having the red carpet on the outside. I mean, but overall, it was a decent experience or whatever. Just meeting with the fellow fans and just seeing how many people was out there, and not just Cowboys fans. Now, we was repping hard.
Yeah.
Dallas was repping hard for the Cowboys, but not only that, you saw Patriot fans, Packer fans,
Browns
Browns fans.
Those insufferable smug Eagles fans.
I didn't see none of them. Okay.
You didn't see any Eagles fans?
Nope.
The dudes walking around with their Super Bowl champions, blah blah.
Nope. And if I did, I tuned it out.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I tuned it
And I
all
wish
the
I had
way
done
out.
that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Don't get me started on the Eagles and David Akers. Felt like he was trying too hard to embarrass us.
Asshole.
Yeah, he had a high pitched ass voice. At the last time y'all won the Super Bowl, these college prospects wasn't even born yet. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I think the worst part is that it's true. That's why it hurts so bad.
It do hurt.
You can't really.
It do hurt.
Yeah, it is.
It hurts.
Yeah,
It
I mean, it is.
ah.
It is true, but at the end of the day, Philadelphia only got one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We still got 5 Super Bowls.
What? We got 5. New York got 4.
Washington got 3.
So
That's
you
true.
just
So
you just now,
in the grand NFC East scheme of things.
and I honestly don't think they're making it back.
Nah.
They got a first place schedule, so you got to take that into account. Also, we don't know how Carson Wentz is going to be coming back post ACL injury.
And this is hard to repeat.
Yeah,
You
and
look
it's
at-
just
Oh,
hard.
it's
I
hard-
mean,
it's
that's
hard
why
to
they make
repeat.
it so hard. That's why it's so competitive, because to repeat in this day and age, it's just hard. We've seen the Patriots go to back-to-back Super Bowls. Have they won back-to-back Super Bowls?
They won back-to-back Super
Okay.
Bowls, but that was like 2002, 2000.
Well, I honestly,
2001.
yeah, but I
2002,
honestly
and
think this is
2004.
I honestly think this is a totally different ball game.
Right.
Now versus 15 years ago.
And they're also doing weird stuff like trading up to get a tight end to
That
beat
we
the
wasn't
Cowboys.
even
That
targeting.
we didn't even.
We wasn't even
wasn't
targeting.
even on our board. Like,
Yeah, everybody claims or everybody thinks that they did that just to smite the Cowboys because they heard Wooden was gone.
Well, when you heard the little speech that Akers gave, you got that impression
Right.
a little bit.
well, that's what they were going for. I don't understand. We already had our sights set. We already knew what we were going to do,
Right.
and it did not involve a tight end at that stage.
Yeah,
So, once that sort of snub is no longer valid, then
Right.
the
I
entire
mean,
action doesn't really make sense from
so
the
in the
Eagles.
grand scheme of things, they pretty much made themselves look
Yeah,
like
they
a
just hurt
jackass.
themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Because in round 2, we was deciding between Connor Williams and Micah Gallup, who
Yeah.
we ironically got in the
the third
third round.
Yeah.
So we wasn't even targeting a tight end. You know, they kind of put 2 and 2 together, like, okay, Jason Witten is retiring, which we still don't know if that's true or not.
yeah.
I feel
But-
like it is, though.
Yeah, I mean, just
Well,
because.
no, we don't know. The Jerry had actually came out with a statement during one of their press conferences, I think on Friday, and he right after the news came out, he said, "Okay, this statement is regarding any Jason Witten questions. Apparently, Jason Witten has a lot to think about. He has been in contact with Jerry." Has been talking to Jerry about this even since the Thursday night offer came on the table. But now that this Monday night situation came on the table, I guess it's kind of reopened his eyes to, hey, maybe
That's a good gig.
maybe I should do this. So he has a lot to think about. He has to talk it over with his family. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it 100% funky. If I was Witten, I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
a
That's a
good
good
opportunity.
opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
opportunity. And let's just say, hey, you think that, okay, obviously, now we don't know what the season has to hold. But obviously, our team is in that weird space of we're not necessarily rebuilding, but I still think we're a season or 2 away, Just because when you look at it in the aspect of we have more young players now than veterans.
Right.
So, and a lot of these, even some of those veterans haven't been to, playoffs, but the team is fairly young, is 90% young at this point, and nobody really has experience.
And
So-
looking at last year, how it was sort of a struggle to mesh well, a struggle to get
Yeah.
off the ground. I mean, I know we had other outside factors.
and not to mention
Zeke
that
getting suspended,
Right.
and
And
losing Tyron, Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to affect any quarterback, So, I mean,
Lee was out for a few games.
Yeah, I mean, but that's yearly.
Yeah,
you know, Lee is going to be out. He's going to play anywhere from 12 to 14 games. You know, he's not going to play a full 16. But you saw when Lee went out. I mean, our defense went to shit.
Yeah.
He was pretty much the quarterback of that defense.
Yeah,
getting everyone lined up, getting everyone's assignments in order, and he could read the offense, much like Tony Romo on the offensive side could read the defense.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the reason why we went, you know, Vander Esch, who I'm very excited about, in the first round, because I think, you know, you put him along with Jalen Smith, who I'm just going to say this on the record right now, I think he's going to have a big year. I'm excited about Jalen Smith. You put him along with Sean Lee, you put Vander Esch in the middle, you have a trio of athletic linebackers that can run sideline to sideline, can tackle, and can cover.
Right. And Jalen's officially 100%.
And yeah, I you know, if he's practicing without the brace, I'm looking at it like this. Okay, that drop foot is clearly, it's clearing up. Mm-hmm. You know, and you know, you saw some explosion towards the end of the season, where you saw him progress in limited snaps. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about our linebacker core. We got 2 linebackers in this draft.
But back to Witten, we wasn't about to get on the picks just yet.
Well, I mean, okay, I was just, you know,
back to Witten. I think he should do it.
I think it's a good career decision for him.
Because if he doesn't take it, that opportunity is not going to be there next year.
I wouldn't go
and
that
far.
No,
but that was the point. That was the point that I was trying to get to. When you talk about these correspondent jobs, or NFL correspondents, when you think of it in that aspect, when people get those jobs, they normally hold on to them for a long time.
That's true.
So the Thursday night gig passed, and then now the Monday night gig is given. You know, the opportunity is there. So let's just say he do feel like, hey, I think this is the year. I'm gonna give it one more year, and then this is not the year. Now you're in limbo because you're like, okay, now I really don't even have that gig because it's already been given to somebody else. Now I got to figure something else out to do. Maybe you can be a contributor to NFL Network. Maybe you can be a contributor to ESPN.
Maybe you could be assistant coach to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, because I do know he wants to coach. So that could be another opportunity. But I feel like this opportunity on Monday Night Football
is huge.
It's huge. It's too good
You're gonna be getting paid damn good money.
And you don't have to put your body on the line.
Yeah, you don't have to put your body on the line. And I think his time has passed as far as that era. You know, Witten is the last person from that Romo era that is still there. You know, that Romo, Bill Parcells. You know, like 03 to
the oldest
03 to 07 type club. That's the last people that are here. I think he done gave a lot to the Cowboys, and it's sad that, you know, we couldn't get
him a ring.
Yeah,
that's what hurts the most.
Couldn't win the big one, you know, in a grand scheme of things. But you know, I wish him the best, but I hope he, you know, kind of takes that route and say, listen here, I got to think about my family. I got to think about life after football. You know, we love this game, especially when you're the athlete playing the game. Like, it's one thing for us to love the game and we're sitting spectating and watching and commenting at home sitting on the couch. But it's one of those things when you are an athlete, you know, and you love the game so much, and you've been playing this game since Pop Warner. And
sacrificing your body.
Sacrificing your body for decades, you know. And it's one of those things where it's hard to let go, you know. And I think it's in that stage where, yes, I do think Witten can still produce. However, Witten's not the same Witten that he used to be.
No.
And that leads me to another point. I feel like he's a lot like a liability to the Cowboys. And I say that because with him there, he's never going to relinquish that number one tight end spot.
And he never wants to get off the field
And he never wants to get off the field. So what ends up happening is we've seen a pile of tight ends come in and out of this organization since Witten has been drafted. We've seen so many tight ends come into this organization and they leave out, and they can never seem to get past that or have the career that Witten has here. Right. So I think what this is going to do is it's going to be a learning curve, because when you think of it in this way, Dak's not going to have that, hey, I run a 4 yards check down, person. If anything, that's going to make Beasley have to work a little bit better and work a little bit harder, because now he's going to be that, hey, run 4 yards down the field, check down.
Yeah, he's going to be that chain mover.
That chain mover, so let's get the first down and keep the chains moving. He's going to have to be in that spot. Also, we just drafted another tight end, and we still got Rico. Rico was looking promising this last preseason, but unfortunately, him getting the concussion by Xavier Woods in training camp, it caused him to miss the whole season. And a lot of people are like, well, why was he missing the entire season? Some people deal with concussions. They're able to handle concussions better than other people, and some people concussions can linger on. I think it was a study that's that's out right now that it's something in the brain that makes people more susceptible to getting concussions. So, like for instance,
certain people versus
versus certain people. Anybody can get a concussion, but how your body deals with it and responds to it. So, like for instance, I can run my head into a brick wall 300 times and nothing happens to me. But Evan can nick his head on the carpet, and then all of a sudden, he's
lights out.
It's lights out.
The theory is that first you have to have something to damage in order to have damage. So I would have problems, and you, of course, can, the brick
Evan,
wall.
Don't talk about yourself, okay? Don't talk about yourself, okay?
So I feel okay. So do you think when Rico does get on the field, every time he gets hit, do we have to hold our breaths? It's like, oh God, I hope he doesn't get a concussion. Otherwise, he's going to be out the entire season. Do we have to hold our breaths?
You have that kind of
sort of do.
Yeah, because look at it. You think a concussion wouldn't take him out the entire season, but it did. And there was no other injuries that was related to that. It's not like he had a torn ACL or an MCL or a torn pec, or anything like that. He had a concussion. Now, Germany's right. Concussions do linger on.
Right.
But the entire season, I don't know. I don't know.
Whoever takes up Witten's mantle, we're going to have to get used to the idea of not having an indestructible human,
He's only missed one game.
Like a tank coming down the field.
Right. He's only have missed one game his entire career. That's amazing.
It's insane.
That's amazing. That's a good track record right there. So
I think we're gonna hear more about that. Probably by the time y'all hear this podcast, we'll probably know maybe
a little bit more info.
A little bit more info on what Witten's gonna decide to do. But yeah, I hope he gone ahead and do what's best for his family and gone ahead and retire. Now, getting back to the draft. The draft was interesting all across the board. There was a lot of things that was going on.
It was a very weird draft.
Yeah, a very, very weird draft. There's a lot of things going on. Like starting in the first round, it was so many people in the first round that I thought was going to go probably in the top 10 or top 15 that didn't go. So many people fail, And looking at it from a Cowboys perspective, I'm like, dang, it was a couple of them guys like Derwin James, Tremaine Edmonds. We could have went up and got them guys,
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Obviously, we got an A- or something on the
It
draft.
varies based on different sites. Pro Football Focus actually gave us an elite, so they were very pleased with our performance.
Pro Focus Football College, they gave Leighton Bennett a grade of 89.8, and I think he had the highest run stopping percentage among linebackers in the draft at 16.8, I believe.
He is exactly what we need for when and if Lee.
I don't know. I don't think it's a matter of if Lee is. It's just a matter of when
during the season or after the season. He is what we need to fill the hole whenever it happens.
And I think what Vander Esch is, you can rotate him and Lee out, so Lee is not taking on majority of that punishment. Yeah. You know, so that's why I believe it's a good. Our linebacker corps was very thin. I mean, Lee.
But
was
we got
injured.
2 in this draft?
Yeah, we got 2 in this draft. I mean, Lee was injured. Jalen Smith, he was playing with the brace. Hitchens gone to the Chiefs. Right. And then Damian Wilson, he's kind of been average to mediocre. So you look at it, you needed depth in that linebacker corps. I mean, you could argue that, maybe wide receiver was the biggest need here, but linebacker was just as much of a bigger need than wide receiver, if not much bigger.
I didn't think, honestly, and I keep telling people this, I didn't think wide receiver was a need.
Really?
No, I don't. This is the reason why I really wanted us to draft Will Hernandez, because, I've been saying this whole offseason, one of the top 3 reasons to me that we didn't have the success that we had in 2016 was the fact that line changed. Right. You done flexed Lyle out to right tackle. He's not playing guard no more. Leary left.
Free retired.
So that line had a certain chemistry about them. They had a certain chemistry 2016 and even going back, even before Dak was a starter, even with Romo. I remember it was one I think it was a Sunday night game against the Giants, and you see Romo scrambling, they gave him 8-9 seconds in the pocket. Dez Bryant gets open and they score a touchdown.
Yeah, you can't cover somebody for that long.
Because you can't cover somebody for that long. It was something magical about that line when Doug Free and Ronald Leary was there, Now, them 2 players are gone, So you still got your main man Zach Martin doing this thing. You still got Travis Frederick holding it down. You still got the big man Tyron Smith doing his thing. But the line is one of those, especially the O-line. The O-line is one of those things where it's like you move one piece. Honestly, to me, if you move one piece, it changes the whole dynamic. Yeah. The O-line is one of them things that they gotta stay intact.
Continuity is important.
Continuity. So it's one of those things where I was even saying back then, we should have tried some way, somehow to keep Ronald Leary. I understand people saying he was going to lose his job to Lyle or whatever the case may be, but I felt like that was one person that in 2016 I was like, we got to figure out some way to keep him. Yeah. Because you want your line to still gel together. Now, we couldn't control Doug Free retiring, That was out of our control. But let's try to control what we can control. And with that, I felt like they should have tried a little bit harder to keep him. But hey, it is what it is. Now, fast forward to 2017. The line was going through growing pains. You got 2 new pieces in there, You got Lyle at right tackle. It's a new position for him, He's not a new position, but he's normally played guard.
He normally plays guard. He has the versatility to move out the tackle.
So he he was playing guard. Now they moved him, flexed him out to right tackle. It's some growing pains. Not to mention, they say he got short arms or whatever to be a tackle and stuff like that because you need the leverage,
right,
and things like that, things of that nature. So but you saw he was getting better and progressed as the season went on.
Yeah, but it definitely took time. It definitely took time.
But okay, that right there is one thing. You got Jonathan Cooper, who is doing decent. He's doing decent. But then Tyron Smith gets hurt, so he has to sit out. Now you got the backups, Byron Bell and Chaz Green inside trying to do their thing, and we saw how that was.
Yeah.
So this whole offseason, and I think not this whole offseason, I've been saying this since the Atlanta game. We got to fix the line. We got to have depth on the line that when somebody goes down, we got somebody who's going to be decent to take their spot.
Right.
Not just
not just a jag, as people like to say, just a guy.
Yeah. And one thing about the Cowboys, we have great first strings, but our depth be crappy as shit.
We very top heavy.
Yeah, top heavy. We don't have a balance throughout the
entire roster. Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, I was saying, hey, listen here. The key to all of our problems is fixing the line. One of the reasons why we was able to go on an 11-game winning streak in 2016 is because we had that bad man, Zeke Elliott, in the backfield. That's that A+ All-Pro. I mean, Cadillac, big old expedition excursion O-line.
Right.
Able to just open up holes for him to run freely.
Exactly. With the expedition holes that he runs through.
Yeah, with the
more like excursion size.
With the big excursion F2, F3, 50
Super Duty
holes for him to run through. Not to mention because he's such a physical back himself and he's such a monster to bring down.
He's just trucking people.
He's trucking people on top of that. So now everybody's selling out to stop the run. That's the reason why Cole Beasley had the year he had. That's the reason why Dez Bryant had an okay year that year. Because what happened was, okay, they're going to sell out to stop the run. Okay? Right. What people have to realize is this. The moment Zeke Elliott was drafted, he became the number one dude. Before him, it was Dez, okay? It was Dez. Dez was that guy. He was the face of the Cowboys. When we drafted Zeke, instantly Zeke is the Cowboys. So you know what you got to do? He's the number one. You want to say that, hey, you got the Dez is the number one receiver or the number one player, and he was the number one player for a while behind Romo. Right. He was the number one player for a long time. But when Zeke got dropped, Zeke's the number one dude. And if we're going to be a run-first team, we need to make sure that O-line is solidified all across the board. That way they can gel together. That way they can become one. Right. And when you do that, the passing game's going to open up. Now all of a sudden, body catching T. Will is looking like no. Well, I ain't gonna even say that. I was gonna joke and say he's looking like the next Randy Moss.
Oh hell no!
But dude, he's not. I'm being facetious. I'm being facetious.
That's an insult to Randy Moss, man.
Listen here, I'm being facetious, but T. Will's looking better. Cole Beasley's looking better. Witten is looking better. Dez Bryant is looking better.
Right.
So that's what I was saying. I don't think we need to worry too much about trying to go in and draft. Now, do you want to draft somebody to take, at that point, Dez Bryant's spot? Yeah, maybe we wanted to do that. But I thought that our need was fix the line, and I felt like everything around it would look better. Number one, the team. I mean the defense, Right. Your best bet is we have a good defense, compared to recent years, we have a really good defense that's coming together. We got some playmakers on there. However, until we get those playmakers like Earl Thomas or something like that, the best bet is fix your line, pound the rock. Because you know what's going to end up happening? Your defense is going to look better because they're not on the field as much.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, fixing the line was a need. I just felt like linebacker was the biggest need.
I mean, okay, yeah.
Because I felt like, you got those three all-pro, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. I felt like we could escape by with that. Now, I'm glad we got Connor Williams in the second. So we was able to do a little bit of both. fix our skill positions and fix the line and fix the linebacker core. I felt like linebacker was the biggest need. Because
it was
the
biggest need. I was speaking more of towards
the
wide
receiver, right?
That's the reason why I was saying that I wasn't upset with the Van Der Esch
because a lot of people was upset. We didn't take a wide receiver. I felt like this wide receiver draft class this year was very deep, where you could afford to wait to the second or third round to get a starter caliber wide receiver, and we got one in Micah Gallup. I feel like he's a future starter once he gets up to speed. You know, so we was able to accomplish everything in this draft. You know, from getting depth on the linebacker. We got 2 linebackers. We got Van Der Esch and Chris Covington, who's another athletic guy who could be another guy on special teams. You know, because we lost Kyle Weber to the Raiders. You know what I mean? We got Van Der Esch, who can rotate in with Sean Lee and Smith and Wilson and Joe Thomas, you know, all them guys, keep them fresh. So Sean Lee's not taking on all that punishment. You know, I think the less Sean Lee take punishment, the less he gets injured. You know, I felt like we was able to fix our line with Connor Williams. I actually had a first-round grade on Connor Williams.
I like the Connor Williams
I like the Connor Williams pick.
It's not my dude Will Hernandez, but I like the Connor
Williams pick because you can slide. God forbid, if Tyron Smith was to get injured again, you could slide him to tackle because he's played some left tackle, you know, and that versatility comes in handy. Or you can use Fleming as a swing tackle. You know, I felt like, you know, we fixed the depth on the offensive line, not only in this draft, but during free agency as well. When we got Fleming and Marcus Martin. That's another name to watch out for because I think he's going to be the starter at right guard. So that's another name to watch out for. Right guard. Because you have
Zach is at right guard.
I mean left guard.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean I think he's going to be kind of push Connor Williams for that starting spot.
Yeah.
I think in the end Connor Williams will win it, but Marcus Martin is another name to watch out for. I also like the receivers we got. Gallup,
both in the draft and with
Tavon Austin,
right?
But with Tavon Austin, you know,
I think
they're moving him to running back. He's more of that Lance Dunbar type role, the guy that can come in on third down, that you can use on jet sweeps, that you can use on bubble screens and stuff like that. Because he's not really necessarily a guy that you can count on route running, but he definitely has a speed. I mean, he ran a 4.34 at the combine a few years back. He definitely has a speed.
Years ago.
A few years. So I mean, you know, he definitely has the speed to take the top off of defense along with Deontay Thompson. So you can put him at wide receiver. You could put him at running back. You know what I'm saying? You could use him in that third down role. You know what I mean?
And I will say this: when it comes to our wide receiver core. And when we think about what we did in free agency and what we did in the draft, you know, I still don't agree with how they parted ways with Dez Bryant. We can talk about that forever.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast right
but
there.
I was never upset about the fact that they let him go.
Right.
Because what we're seeing now is it's going to be a receiver by committee type situation. Now
versus one,
with the free agents they picked up and the 2 wide receivers that they picked up in the draft, what this is going to tell T. Will, Noah Brown, I would have said Ryan Switzer, but he's gone.
He's gone.
Cole Beasley, all the other receivers we already had on the roster. This is going to tell them that, hey, your job is up for jeopardy. They're creating competition in every single position.
And that's what I love.
And that's good because now what's going to end up happening, well, I think what happened last season, we was like, okay, we went to the divisional round. We became a field goal from winning that thing. You know,
a holding call away.
Yeah, a holding call away from winning that thing.
God.
And I think that some of the players and even some of the fans got kind of
relaxed,
and then so now you know you got people like a Dez Bryant or Cole Beasley or anything that think, okay, we just gonna go in and recreate the same success that we had before, we see that didn't happen. What's happening now is with Allen Hurns, with Deontay Thompson. Now what's going to end up happening, they going to have to duke it out in training camp for a position. Because that receiver room is still crowded.
You got 9 receivers.
So, honestly, to be honest, I don't think Deontay Thompson's going to end up being on the team. That's my personal opinion.
They guarantee him $1 million. He got a $1 million signing bonus. And I think whenever you get that much money in the signing bonus, I think you're guaranteed a spot. I mean,
we'll see what happens. But if you look at what they're doing now, quote unquote, making the team Dak friendly, what's going to end up happening, Dak is the conservative quarterback. He doing the nice little check downs. Let's just keep moving the chains, run down the clock.
Methodically.
Almost like a West Coast offense, Mm-hmm. Hey, because if you look at, what's the quarterback that used to play for the 49ers? What's his name?
Kaepernick?
No. The older one that they helped them win the Super Bowls in the 80s.
Montana.
Joe Montana. When you think about that and you think about the West Coast offense, because it was originated by them, Joe Montana wasn't always just flinging the ball down the field.
Right.
They was doing that, hey, let me go on ahead and throw the 7-yard pass. Keep moving the chains. Yes, they had Jerry Rice, who was a beast and who could go downfield. But they was doing that West Coast offense thing. Let's keep moving the chains.
Keep moving the chains, yeah.
Keep moving the chains. You gonna tire out your defender, plain and simple.
Right.
So I think that's what we're doing. We're going in this route. Dak is that kind of quarterback. He doesn't want to take the chance and throw the 50-50 balls and be a gunslinger. Right. He wants to be conservative. He wants to protect the ball. And I like that.
Me too.
I like that he doesn't want to make mistakes. So now what you're seeing is with the additions of Hurns, with the additions of the guys we got in the draft.
Yeah, Gallup and Cedric Wilson.
That we got up in there. We got some people that are serious route runners, and that's going to help Dak because now
route runners.
Yeah, because that's why I was always saying we don't need. That's why when everybody was like, "Oh, we need to draft Calvin," really we need speed. I'm like, we don't necessarily. In certain cases, you do need speed, but we don't necessarily need speed like that because if we're a run first team, at the end of the day, as long as you are surgical and methodical with that route running, you're gonna get open every time because you're relying on the technique. You're not relying on I can run fast because you're not gonna always be able to run that fast.
I mean, but Calvin really can run routes.
No, he can, but I'm saying that in the aspect of people saying let's draft him. He can run routes. He can and he's fast. I'm like, we don't necessarily need a fast receiver. We need route runners. We need people who are serious route runners.
It does sort of open up the deep field threat, though. Which helps your running game.
Yeah.
And if your running game is it's sort of a symbiotic.
And then that's why you
there.
do got a couple of those receivers that can get down the field and get
verticals
and get verticals. Yeah. So it's still going to be there. But I think that we did good in the wide receiver class when it came to drafting or whatnot. I was just so happy we didn't take one in the first round.
Yeah, me too.
I was so happy we waited to the third. I really wanted us to get a dude like Equanimeous. We see that didn't happen.
He was one pick away though.
The Cowboys stuck to their draft board this year.
They was very disciplined. I'm proud of them.
Because it's very tempting to, when you see a Tremaine Edmonds or you see a Derwin James or you see one of them fall, it's very tempting to, hey, let's sell the horse and go up and get one of them guys.
And with them having 10 picks, if they did trade away a couple of those picks, you could understand because it's like, okay, look, you got 10 picks.
Right.
If a blue chip player like a Derwin James, who can be the quarterback of your defense, is in that 16 to 19 range, yeah, you're more tempting to pull the trigger oftentimes than not. And I love what they did was like, look, we know who we want. We know who we want. And it seemed like they had Van Der Esch pegged for months as the top guy. Yeah. As the top guy on their board. They're comparing him to Brian Urlacher. And Brian Urlacher is a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. So, I'm comparing him to both Urlacher and Sean Lee, only without the injury history, of course. Because he can be the quarterback of your defense. He can cover tight ends. If you, let's just say, for instance, with the Patriots, if you need a linebacker to cover Gronk, he can be that guy that can cover Gronk. Mm-hmm. Because he's 6'4", he's 256 pounds. Okay, and the scariest part about that is he actually has more room to grow into his frame because he needs to get a little bit bigger to shed blocks. That was the one weakness that I saw while watching tape on him, that he has trouble shedding blocks. But I think as he grow into that frame, it will be a lot easier for him to shed blocks. So people was pounding the table for Rashaan Evans, the linebacker out of Alabama, but I felt like with Vander Esch, he has the much more higher ceiling than Rashaan Evans.
Yeah, you can Cowboys mold him into what you need him to be. You know, with Rashaan Evans, what you see is
it's pretty much what you get.
Gonna get.
He's a downhill thumper. Like if you tell him to run straight line.
But see, we got that in Jalen. We got that in Jalen Smith. If y'all even saw last season, even though he couldn't do his running sideline to sideline because of the boot. Yeah. But if you told him, listen here, run straight down and stop the run or whatever, he gonna do that.
Right.
And he was successful at it. So we got that kind of guy. So to draft two of them guys, it
wouldn't have made sense.
It wouldn't have made sense. We needed an inside linebacker. That's what we needed. We needed that, and that's why I said I wasn't upset with the pick. I was all about staying pat and staying at 19. I said, don't be crazy. Don't be selling the horse to move up. It's gonna be tempting. Honestly, I just wish Vita Vea would have been there. Because if he was there, to have a big body in the middle to clog up that middle and stop that run,
that would have transformed my entire
defense, and then we could have got another linebacker. But needless to say, I'm not mad about the Van Der Esch pick. I think it was a smart pick.
On the Vita Vea thing, I'm actually glad that he went 12th, so it wasn't as much of a temptation. It wasn't like he went 15th and we're
if he went 15 and we're
in the 16 range, I felt like, because all the intel that I gathered from the start of draft week, which was last Friday, they had 3 players that they zeroed in on: Vita Vea, Leighton Vander Esch, and DJ Moore, in that order. So imagine if Vita Vea is falling anywhere from 16 to 17,
and we're over here freaking out about it.
Like, and we're sitting here at 19. It's like, oh man.
You would sort of have to trade up at that point.
You get a little antsy. Like, he's the guy that we want. We got 3 players that we zeroed in on in that order. He's number 1.
You would pretty much have to break for it at that point.
And if it's affordable where we can trade up a couple spots without having to break our draft capital wide open, I felt like they was going to do that.
Absolutely. But see, he went 12th, and we were frustrated.
I felt because I felt like the Buccaneers didn't need him.
Now you don't need to think about it.
They didn't need him.
It was never attainable. It was never.
I thought honestly,
I thought he would have went to Washington as opposed. I thought he would have went to Washington as opposed to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay don't necessarily need him.
They already got Gerald McCoy. We don't have to worry about him. That's so nice.
That's good. But they also got Gerald McCoy. They just signed Bo Allen. They traded for JPP. Jason Pierre-Paul. I felt like they didn't really need him. Yeah. That was frustrating about it. You get what I'm saying? I felt like that was more of a luxury pick than anything.
That's absolutely true. That leads me to another point. What was up with people New Orleans. What was y'all doing thinking trading up and trading your first round pick for next year to get the cornerback?
He's a pass rusher.
Pass rusher.
Marcus Davenport.
Marcus Davenport. I'm like, Because I thought when they was trading up, I'm like, okay,
This got to be Lamar Jackson.
This got to be a quarterback. They know Breeze is getting a little older. He might have 2-3 more seasons in him. And I'm sitting there thinking, you think that y'all are just a pass rusher away from a Super Bowl? You think that's what's stopping y'all?
I mean, technically, they lost the Super Bowl on a Hail Mary. So you could say technically they probably was
you mean
pass.
a championship?
No,
divisional, right? Wasn't
no, it was NFC championship.
No,
I mean the divisional, yeah.
NFC divisional.
So you could say they was a one pass rusher away from going to the NFC championship.
Right.
And they felt like, okay, we could have got pressure on Case Keenum. Maybe that throw to Stephon Diggs doesn't happen, but
maybe
I did have Marcus Davenport graded as a first round pick.
I just didn't see any.
Yeah, I just felt like it was a reach. I felt like he would go anywhere. I was expecting him to go to Green Bay. Right. Ironically, at number 14, Green Bay traded out of there.
Yeah. And gave it to what? Buffalo?
No, the Saints.
Oh, they gave it to the Saints. I expected
if he was going to go in the top 15, Green Bay was the team that I had pegged for him, because Green Bay, they also need cornerbacks, which they got Jair Alexander, the cornerback out of Louisville, and they need a pass rush because their defense was atrocious last season.
Right.
So I felt like Davenport could go to Green Bay at number 14.
Right.
I just, for a team like the Saints, is for you to trade away a future first.
Yeah.
I felt like if you're gonna do that, that would be
quarterback.
That would be for a quarterback.
Because that's what everybody thought. Okay, they want to make sure they get somebody. They know that Breeze is going to be there 2-3 more seasons possibly. Okay, let's go on ahead and get a QB in, kind of train him up on the Drew Brees, and we'll be ready to go when Breeze decides to retire.
Right.
That's what I thought. I didn't think they was going to get an edge rush. I'm like...
But I think that Davenport is going to be good.
Don't get me wrong, he's going to be good. I just don't agree.
I just don't agree trading the future first.
Now, if you wanted to trade maybe a future third or fourth, and a couple of picks this year, or something like that, that would have made more sense.
Right.
But the fact that they did that, I didn't understand that.
That was a few head scratches in that draft.
Few head scratches. I mean, everybody knew. Think about it. Okay, so you got some people talking about Cleveland saying that why in the world did Cleveland not go ahead and get Saquon Barkley in the first pick and then go ahead and pick up maybe a Sam Darnold or something with the fourth?
Matter of fact, why didn't Sam Darnold go number 1? I think that's the feeling that I'm
not
getting.
have been there at their fourth pick.
No,
but you thinking about it, they drafted Baker Mayfield first overall.
Right.
So what's going to end up happening is if they take Saquon Barkley, Giants might at that point, okay, we're going to take a QB. They may take Baker Mayfield or we don't know.
Right.
But hypothetically speaking, after that is Jets. Did they take
they took Sam Darnold number 3.
Okay,
and they didn't look when they traded up from number 6 to number 3 way back in, I believe, March. Mm-hmm. They wasn't expecting Sam Darnold to be there. They were expecting him to go number 1. Mm-hmm. I was a little. Don't get me wrong. I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a great quarterback.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting him to go.
I knew
number
he was,
1.
I had a feeling.
But the day before the draft, it came down between Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield, and I think the tipping point is with Josh Allen, those offensive racial tweets that came out, on the day of the draft.
Yeah.
Kind of, not that I don't think it had much to do with it, because I think John Dorsey had his eye on Baker Mayfield the entire time.
Right.
But it didn't exactly help Josh Allen's case, even though those tweets was made when he was just 15 years old.
Can I just say how much I hate now? Making racial tweets and all that kind of stuff is bad, and shame on the people who do it. I hate.
But he was just 15 years old when he made those tweets.
But just saying piece of shit things is not a good thing.
And he was
really
quoting lyrics.
Loathe how it's got this sort of cloak and dagger. the teams are not spying, but they're digging up into the back histories of players to sort of discredit them for the later rounds. Because that's why all this stuff, whenever we get these big old, oh, look, this person did something terrible, you know it's one of the 32 teams who is slightly below where they think this player will be, and they want to sort of sabotage their reputation,
right?
So that they can pick them up later in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, a couple years ago that happened to Laramie Tunsil. The video of him with the gas mask and him, you know, smoking whatever he was smoking out of a bong.
Right.
That kind of torpedoed his
what could
draft
it be?
style. Yeah. And this came, and the thing about this is, this not only came out on the day of the draft, this happened minutes before the draft was about to start. Right. That Twitter video came out, and he said his Twitter was hacked, you know, and stuff like that. But you get what I'm saying is, you know, the perception of what people think about you. They digging information on you. Mm-hmm. And I felt like the people that had Josh Allen on this board, I think they already knew that. You know, these teams, they have investigative
That's true. No,
squads that come out and investigate these sort of type of things. You get what I'm saying?
You're not wrong, but there's a difference. If you know that this player has done something, you can deal with it. But then when it comes out and it gets released to the general public, and all of a sudden every one of your fans is freaking out, like, oh, God, you can't pick that guy. Oh, what are you doing?
Right,
you know?
right.
I'm just saying the public relations aspect definitely plays a big part, and that's why, you know, these kind of stories are getting broken like that, to try and knock people down a peg or three.
Right. I mean, I can see that, but, you know, it still didn't stop Buffalo from trading up. To get him.
People will do what the teams will do.
Right. You know, he has a certain type of skill set. He's big. He's got a big arm. Mm-hmm. He does have some accuracy issues for a guy that size. But like I said, Buffalo, they felt he was the quarterback of the future because he can play in that type of weather. He can play in the snow. He can play in inclement weather. And, you know, he also would have been perfect for Cleveland as well, because Cleveland gets that same sort of type of weather as well. You know, He played college football at Wyoming, where the weather was, I ain't gonna say it's unpredictable like our weather here, but he still had to play through those type of factors in the rain, in the snow. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah,
now what's up with New York getting Saquon Barkley with the second pick?
Gentlemen, I told you they was going to take Barkley.
That's so. I thought they would go for a QB. I mean, Eli Manning.
That's what I was saying.
Younger.
Like, he's not getting. You telling me with your second overall pick?
You were never going. Well, okay, not to say never, but
okay, you're not going to pick that. You're not going to be that high up in the draft for a while.
The Giants not getting a second round or not getting a second pick overall. That
because think about it. If you got Saquon Barkley, and we know the kind of player he is, we know what he brings to that team, and with the addition of people like Will Hernandez, you see they're trying to get that line together.
Right.
With Saquon Barkley on your team, you're never going to be in a position to be the second overall pick. It's not happening.
Right.
So in my case, you're never going to get that close up unless you trade up, you know, unless you sell the whole horse. Why not plan for the future? I'm sorry, but if I had to pick, and I'm the New York Football Giants organization, the fact is, Eli Manning
is 37 years old.
37 years old.
He's been on the decline for a while.
He's been on the decline for a while. And y'all don't really have an O-line in front of him.
And it's a
so
running
the best
back.
thing to do is, okay, if you think that y'all going to be mediocre for the next couple of years, what you do is, and you know Eli Manning's going to be there, why not draft the QB in this draft when you have the second overall pick? That way, that person can come up under Eli. That way, when Eli retires, you have a person ready to go.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that team that after a franchise quarterback retires, you don't want to be that team that's cycling through 7 or 8 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I remember we did that.
There.
Yeah, we've been there. You know, after Troy Aikman retired, they didn't have a replacement for him.
Yeah.
We went through Chad Hutchinson. We went through Quincy Carter. We went through Ryan Leaf's Clint Sterner. I can go. It's a laundry list of quarterbacks. It's, I'm not gonna say it's nearly as long as Cleveland's quarterbacks that never panned out, because you can build an academy with the quarterbacks that didn't work out for Cleveland.
The quarterback graveyard.
Oh my God, that's a dumpster fire.
That's when you go to, as Mark Holmes said, going to Siberia.
Right.
And
that's going to Alaska.
To the
you know what I mean?
Front.
That's another reason why I was like,
they're
Cleveland.
NFC East rivals. So hey, if you guys want to pass up on a franchise QB and get yourself a running back, by all means.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong though. The offensive line issues didn't help Eli Manning out at any point.
But Eli
Eric
was never.
Flowers
I'm
was
sorry,
a turnstile machine.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But
still, he was showing.
Eli Manning was never a quarter. Now he has flashes where that dude is freaking
playoff
insane.
Eli.
You just see him throw some of the most beautifulest balls you ever seen in your life. But Eli has never been this like. He's never been on the caliber to me of an Aaron Rodgers or a Big Ben or something like that. Right. Like he's always been, or even his brother.
Peyton Manning.
It's
so
he's
weird. Always been an okay QB that happens to just have moments where he just turn in it, and people say
Eli.
He's 2 times Super Bowl winning champ. I get that. However,
so
if you look at them 2 Super Bowls that New York Giants won, they defense played a big part in them winning those games.
Well, let's be fair. In playoff football, if you're not there,
no,
if you have a giant
you're not
glaring
there.
Flaw on your defense, you're not winning.
What is the term that we always hear? Defense wins championship.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, Eli, he was God tier. He
had moments in when he turned into playoff Eli. I remember the helmet catch.
It's scary. It's scary, and it's like, what the heck? But at the end of the day, you can't. 2007, that line they had, that D line they had. Like, come on,
Justin
you can't.
Tuck and Michael Strahan and
like
you
can you cannot deny that defense helped them win those games.
Absolutely.
I'm not taking nothing from Eli, but Eli's never been this. He's never to me been a guy where I'm just like, you know what? If my defense go down, I'm relying on Eli to win the game.
To me, Eli Manning.
Look at last year, Nick Foles. Who the hell is this guy during the regular season? And then the playoffs show up,
he just
shows up. Because the moment that they lost Carson Wentz, I think all 3 of us said,
I think people across the entire league were
it's over.
There goes their Super Bowl chances right there, and they wound up winning it with Nick Foles. Eli Manning kind of reminds me of a better Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer that played quarterback for the Ravens in 2000. That defense won the Ravens. That defense won. Ray Lewis and Rod Woodson and all them guys. That defense is one of the greatest defense ever. Between the 1985 Bears defense, the 2000 Ravens, 2002 Buccaneers. Okay, we can even throw the Giants in there. 2007 Giants. 2007
they
Giants.
Was scary.
It's scary. You know what I'm saying? That Ravens defense won Trent Dilfer a champion. All Trent Dilfer had to do was don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, don't mess up.
Don't mess up. You're a game manager. You're a bus driver. Okay.
Yeah. Scoot the ball there, score some points, and then let the defense.
Let's take it mile by mile. You're a bus driver, so that's what Eli Manning reminds me of, a better Trent.
They need to get somebody.
And it's time. Eli is not going. Eli might play till he's 40. But Eli's not there in 5 years. I'm sorry.
Apparently they think different. They think Eli has 3 more years left now.
Okay, yeah, he might have 3
even
more
if he
years.
has 3 years, are you going to get the 2nd overall pick?
No.
Especially you got Saquon Barkley now. You think now y'all are going to ever be in that position again? Y'all just had the perfect storm happen last season.
Well, right? I feel like with the presence of a running game, because that's another thing that the Giants didn't have last year beside an O-line. They didn't have an O-line.
Okay, but
they didn't have a running game. Look, I feel like with the presence of a running game, them beefing up their offensive line, first getting Nate Solder in the offseason in free agency, and then you get Will Hernandez in the 2nd round. Having a better offensive line, having a better running game where he can just hey,
dump it off.
Turn hey, Barkley, this is your show. Take it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to help extend his career by a couple more years.
Okay, so running backs and quarterbacks have longer careers. Typically, you would expect
and
a
I feel
quarterback to be the one that
15 years, 16 years. And I feel like that's where it hurt Barkley in a sense. I felt like Saquon Barkley was the best player in this draft. I felt like he should have went number one. But the one thing that hurt him was the position that he plays.
Yeah.
Okay, people say running backs are a dime in a dozen. You can get them in the third, the fourth, the fifth round. I mean, like Alvin Kamara, the reigning offensive rookie of the year. The Saints got him in the third round. Jordan Howard for the Chicago Bears, they got him in the fifth round.
Don't forget the Rams, man.
The Rams.
My dude, what's his name? What's the running back for the LA Rams?
I mean, Tiger, he was a first round pick. Though. He was top 10.
Yeah.
So he went in the first round. Gurley, every year you do, I'm going to say every year, but every maybe 7 years, you have these once in a generation type running backs that come out. Okay,
guys, who do we have at running back?
Zeke was one. Zeke was one of them.
He's a fourth overall pick.
Look,
obviously, there's much value to be had in drafting a running back.
Look, LaDainian Thomas was one of those.
Yeah, LT.
LT was one of those running backs. Adrian Peterson was one of those running backs. Zeke was one of those running backs. Leonard Fournette was one of those generational type running backs. Saquon Barkley is another one that's going to be right in line with those once in a decade type running back.
But when it comes down to it, is the running back or the quarterback the more important position?
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you on that. That's why I said Saquon Barkley. That's the reason why he didn't go number one. It's because of the position that he plays. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I feel like he should have won number one.
I just feel like if I'm Cleveland and I got the first overall pick and the fourth overall pick,
pick a running back. Take Saquon.
Listen here. I'm going to go ahead and take Saquon because he's the best player in this draft.
And you know that there's going to be a good quarterback.
You might not get a Baker Mayfield. You might not get a Sam Darnold. But there's still other damn good quarterbacks that are top 10 quarterbacks that you can get in the fourth round.
Because I felt they had the first pick and then they had the fourth pick. I felt like they could have taken Saquon at 1 because you had 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10. That's the first time in NFL draft history that has ever happened. I felt like you could have got Sam Rosen at number 3. Arizona wound up trading for him. I think not Sam Rosen. I'm thinking of Sam Darnold. Josh Rosen, excuse me. Josh Rosen to me is if we had to start the season tomorrow and we had to look at any one of these rookie quarterbacks who could start right away, Josh Rosen is the guy to me. It's the most NFL made ready quarterback to start right now. Sam Darnold is second.
And that's the reason why I said.
Why is Baker Mayfield the first?
Why is Baker Mayfield the first?
Look, Baker Mayfield is going to be a great quarterback. No, I do believe he's going to be a great quarterback.
But is he the number one overall pick?
No, I don't think he's number one overall material.
I understand the pick. I understand it. However, if you were smart, think about it. Y'all just got all these receivers. Y'all just got all these playmakers now are going to Cleveland. And it's like, what would be better to just top that whole thing off? Get Saquon number 1 overall and then turn around and get a decent QB like a Josh Rosen or something to that.
I mean, they did wind up getting Nick Chubb later, I think in the second round. They got Corbett and then they got Nick Chubb. I like those 2 picks right there. But the first pick was a head scratcher to me. Baker Mayfield, people are comparing him to Johnny Manziel. I don't think he's Johnny Manziel because I think there's a distinct difference. Baker Mayfield loves the game of football. He's a winner. Yeah. No matter which way you want to slice that, he is a winner. Okay. He loves football. Has he made some dumb decisions off the field? Yes. I mean, we all saw that police video where he decided to run away. I don't know how he thought that was going to end.
But not even run like this. Like
I'm
gonna jog.
I'm gonna run along now. But he is a winner. I just don't think he was number 1 overall material. I thought he would have went number 3 to the Jets. And the fourth pick was even more of a head scratcher to me because
then they get a cornerback, right?
Yeah, Denzel Ward was the top-rated cornerback in this draft to me, and they did get the ball thrown over their heads a shit ton. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why they traded for Demaris Randall in the offseason. But you got Bradley Chubb, who you compare with Myles Garrett, the number 1 pick from a year ago, and you just let them pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. I felt like that would have been a better pick, right? But I mean, clearly they had their board in order, and they knew what they want. Bradley Chubb going to Denver, however, you pair him with Von Miller. Oh my God,
they're gonna be scary. But let's get back to Saquon real quick. I mean, because we got to deal with him. Just imagine
Zeke and Saquon going at it.
That brutal run game.
Who's gonna come out with the stats on top?
That brutal run game on both sides of the ball. I mean, come on. That's gonna be a show to watch.
So you got Dak and Wentz going head to head for the next 10 years.
Oh yeah.
And then now you add Saquon in that rivalry. Yep. Saquon and Zeke going head to head for the next 10 years. Yeah. 2 times playing each other 2 times a year. I mean, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
The NFC East is going to be exciting too.
Yes.
I mean, it's always NFC East is always
one of the best divisions.
Yeah, always exciting because you never know who's going to beat up on who. Right. Each team just beat up on each other. That's one of the reasons why it's
2016 to 2017, massive, unbelievable flips.
Changes. Yeah, that's another reason why I love. It's like a love-hate thing. You wish you could be in a easier division like the Patriots and stuff where you don't have no competition.
I like it. Some people how it is.
Some people like that, but then when you look at it, the competitiveness, the rivalry. The NFC East is by far one of the best divisions in a whole entire NFL.
Right.
Also, the cities overall are important. Dallas, major economic hub. You've got the nation's capital, New York, largest city, Philadelphia.
Or whatever
Philadelphia, whatever.
Whatever.
I mean, it's it's an overall and super interesting division.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Man, so, yeah.
I mean, it was so many. Let's just talk about the first round a little bit. It was so many unexpected changes in that first round that I just didn't see happening. I didn't think Buffalo was going to trade back in. I didn't think Philly was going to trade their pick away.
Right. Well,
what was Philly doing with their draft?
I can tell you what. I can tell you what it is. As much as I hate the Eagles.
And you do hate the
Eagles. And I hate the Eagles with a passion. I love what they did. They took advantage of Lamar Jackson falling. Howie Roseman took advantage of that. And it's like, hey, Baltimore, I know you looking for a quarterback. Flacco's up there in age. Why didn't you come trade back into the first round and get your franchise quarterback of the future? I thought that was a smart play. Getting Dallas Goedert they lost Trey Burton in free agency. So you give him another tight end like Jimmy Graham mode that you can pair along with Zach Ertz. That's going to give their offense was dynamic last year. It's going to be even more dynamic with those 2 tight ends on the field.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love the Avonte Maddox pick, the cornerback out of Pittsburgh. I love that pick as well. They had a good draft. Yeah, to me, regardless of whether they had a first round or not, they manipulated the draft to their liking. It's like Lamar Jackson is falling. Clearly, there's some teams in the second round that wants to trade back into the first round to get this guy because they want to get that 5th year option.
Right.
What I'm saying? They want to have that extra year. Okay, can we go ahead and pick up this option for the 5th year?
Or can we work out that long term?
Can we work out that long-term deal? That 5th year option is attractive. Philadelphia knew that. Howie Roseman knew that, and he played the draft perfectly.
Did you guys hear about their 7th round pick? He is Australian rugby player. He's an OT, Jordan Mailata.
Mailata, yeah. He's 6'8", 350 pounds.
I've seen some of the rugby footage. He is like head and shoulders above these dudes. A good 6 inches, beefier. and he's just trucking people.
Well,
He's
yeah,
just running people over.
I mean, in rugby, you don't have no type of protection.
Right.
Oh, you have
It's
no
all
shoulder
you.
pads. You have no helmets or nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's an interesting pick, and it's worth a flyer in the 7th round.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know,
7th round. You know,
at that point,
at
that point in the draft, you just looking for a player that has startable traits that you can mold into.
Right. I want to see.
You're just taking a flyer.
I'm intrigued. I want to see what he does. I think it'll be interesting to see how the rugby skills, and the athleticism transfer over to the NFL.
Right, and I also like the Josh Sweat pick, the defensive end out of Florida State. I was hoping the Cowboys get him, and they took Dorrance Armstrong instead. But that was another good pick by Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a good draft. So, I like what they did. Washington, I think they was a little bummed out that Vita Vea went one pick before them, because I really saw him going to Washington. That's why you saw the next pick afterwards. They chose Daron Payne, that 2-1 tech out of Alabama.
Right.
Gotta
settle.
Yeah, you gotta settle for what's left there. Daron Payne's going to be a good one as well. So overall, I mean, our division is looking like it's going to be very competitive this year.
Yes.
So what do you think, Jeremy?
No, it's definitely going to be competitive. I'm excited to see it. I think that everybody. One thing you can say about the NFC East, everybody made some adjustments that they needed as far as drafting wise. Right. Everybody filled some positions that they needed to fill. I'm interested to see how it's going down. Who knows? Maybe Saquon is the savior and could turn that organization around.
Well, now they got some blockers.
But
I'm just saying, they got some blockers.
That was the one problem I had with that pick is, look, if you're going to draft Saquon, you better put some maulers in front of him.
It doesn't matter how good he is if he doesn't have a hole to run through.
If you don't have a line, he's going to be straight up garbage. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he's a 3-tool running back. You know how you have a 5-tool baseball player? Mm-hmm. He's a 3-tool running back in the mode of Zeke. Both of them can run between the tackles, have great vision. Okay, both of them can block. The one thing that rookie running backs struggles with coming into the NFL is pass protection. Both of them can block. And then the third tool is he can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can line him up as a receiver. And he can make people miss. He's 233 pounds, making people miss. Multiple people miss. Mm-hmm. Zeke is around 225, 227. Both of these are big backs. That's why I'm excited about this rivalry, Barkley versus Zeke. It's going to be magical to watch. Like I said, I'm not a Giants fan. I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm not a Redskins fan.
But you do want to see what these people can do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Let me say, if you're a pure football fan, this is what
you want to see.
You create, even like with Carson Wentz. I hate that he went to the Eagles because I feel like we would have drafted him over Zeke. But that's another story. But I'm a big fan of Carson Wentz. If you're a football,
you gotta be a fan.
You gotta respect.
The way the guy throws a ball. Yeah. I mean, it's like a missile going down the field.
Yes.
You're sitting there like, what the hell? Like you hate the Eagles, but you like Carson Wentz.
Right, right. You could be the fan of a player. Like if you're a football fan, Wentz versus Dak, that's a great rivalry. It's like Brady. It's like Brady versus Manning, Peyton Manning. All them years they was in that division. With the Colts and the Patriots, and the Patriots kept taking their chumps. So.
Yeah, I think the sort of love of good football is why it would suck to be in a division where you were the best team. Like, you're going to the playoffs every year, but it's not.
It's not like you. I mean, you going to the playoffs by a landslide because the other teams in your division suck.
Exactly, you're just running them over.
That's not saying much. You get what I'm saying? Unless you're the Patriots. The Patriots, they've had sustained success, so they probably the only franchise that can actually get away with that.
Right. But most people can't.
Their division is.
But then they don't have nobody in their division. Who they got? What?
Miami and I think
Cleveland, right? No. Cleveland's north, right?
It's oh my God!
I know Miami is.
It's the
one.
Jets.
Oh yeah, the Jets, Miami. Who's the other person? No, not Buffalo. Buffalo's north.
They're the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
Why
Cincinnati.
do I know this off the top of it because it's AFC.
Is it Cincinnati?
And I don't care.
Isn't it Cincinnati? I think.
No,
they in the AFC North. Okay,
The
Bills.
Yeah, the Bills. So the Bills.
Yeah,
is
so
in
they've been
East.
comfortably.
East. Okay, the Bills. So,
the
yeah, you're
Bills,
right.
Patriots, Dolphins, and the Jets. So I feel like that division is going to be even more competitive. The Jets was competitive last season. You know,
Right.
so I feel like that division is going to be even more competitive. I like the Dolphins.
And now they've got
Minka Fitzpatrick. He is the smartest safety I scouted in this draft. His football intelligence is up there. You know, Nick Saban called him his son.
Oh,
In Alabama. He
Well.
loved Minka Fitzpatrick. So I like that pick as well for Miami. But yeah, the draft was just it was a lot of curveballs, which I mean you're gonna get that every year during the draft, but it was a lot of head scratching picks
Yeah.
as well. So
Like, what was that pick where they said it was a fifth round?
well they didn't say that. I said it's Detroit getting Frank Ragnow, the center from Arkansas. I graded him as a 5th round pick. That was a super reach. I felt like there was better centers on the board, like a James Daniel, the center / guard from Iowa, or Billy Price, who ironically went the next pick after them to Cincinnati, number 21. I felt like he would have been the better pick than Ragnow. But I mean, again, I can't really judge the player, you know, until I see him play. It's kind of almost like when we took Travis Frederick a few years back, and Mike Mayock and Mel Kiper had him great as a 3rd round pick, and you know he's an All Pro now. So I can't really, I'm not gonna really judge too hard on it because I've been there, you know, where we kind of reached on a player that you know we could have gotten to the 3rd round, but he turned out being an All Pro.
Right.
So yeah, you know, I'm not gonna judge it, but yeah, I felt like you could have got him anywhere from the 3rd to 5th round. I had him graded as a 5th round pick.
How do you feel about this running back we got in the 6th round?
Bo Scarborough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the name right there. I love that name. Bo Scar. That sounds like an Alabama name, don't it?
right.
Heck yeah.
Bear Bryant, Bo.
Somebody
Bo
named
Jack.
Bo. That's like somebody that's just gonna come up and just truck the mess out of you.
Hell yeah.
Just
and
because.
when I watch his tape, you want to know what he reminds me of?
What?
Marion the Barbarian.
Oh snap!
Marion
He got the dreads too.
He got
right?
the dress to match it. Can just run up.
Not Marion the Barbarian.
Yes, Marion
snap.
Marion the Barbarian is just a guy that will run over you. He's not trying to outrun you or shake you. He's just trying to run you
I
over.
miss him. He was fun to watch.
He was fun to watch, and that's what when I watched Scarborough.
Yeah.
I want to make sure
Scarborough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Scarborough. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how they pronounce
Anyway,
it. That guy.
like that guy. Anyway, you know, I just want him to be more consistent on tape.
Yeah.
That's the kind of the knock on him.
Well, I mean,
look, he was
I mean,
a
he's not gonna be your
he's a
starting
steal.
running
I had him
back.
great. He's a steal to me because I had him graded as a 5th round pick, and they got him in the 7th round. The last pick
Awesome.
and the last pick. That is tremendous value. This draft for the Cowboys is they got value at every pick.
Yep.
It's like doing bargain shopping, or it's almost like
Going
you
to the thrift shop.
Going to like Costco. And you know how you go to Costco and you get the big bulk
Deals,
shopping,
deals,
and you just
deals.
getting deals on deals on deals. That's what happened this year in the draft for us. We went to Costco and we got nothing but bulk, and it's all stuff that we're gonna need and we can use for the next year.
Yep.
You know, next couple of years. You know, so I've
even come to terms with. I thought that their decision to draft a quarterback in the 5th round was bizarre at the time. But,
It is
but
bizarre.
having looked at it afterwards,
and I watched a little bit of his highlights afterwards.
Look, there was Mike White. He has the accuracy. He definitely has the arm. He has the IQ. The only problem with him is he holds on to the ball too long. Now, granted, his offensive line wasn't the best at Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
But, you know, he needs the internal clock in his head needs to go off a lot quicker. But other than that, I mean, he has the arm. He has the IQ. You know, he can make all the throws. You know, I love this pick actually because it creates
solid
competition.
player.
It creates competition at the back of quarterback position
exactly.
with Cooper
So we
Rush.
don't get
So we don't get
complacent.
look. They created competition in almost every position
Yeah.
here, and that's what I love. It's going to drive everyone to be better. It's going to push everyone to
because
push their
now
best foot forward.
it's
Now
like,
because they looking at your
unless
job
you-
is not safe.
unless you like Dak and Zeke and the O line.
Outside of that,
Outside of that, and offensively,
Oh, especially if you're a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, you need to be sweating.
you need
right
to
now.
be sweating right now. You need to be sweating, and you need to be working hard because the wide receivers and the backup QB position, y'all gonna have to.
They're coming for you.
Yeah, y'all gonna have to duke it out in battle to see who it's gonna be. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what they gonna how they gonna use Tavon Austin in the running back scheme.
because I feel like he'll fit better in this scheme. I feel like Linehan could, we run the jet sweep all the time and that end around reverse. And when Lance Dunbar was healthy, he was a matchup nightmare. You can line him up as a third receiver. You can line him up out wide, and Linehan will utilize him a lot on third down. I feel like Tavon Austin can take that mode. Hence why they see him as a running back. Now, you could use him as a wide receiver, but he's kind of in that mode of a Percy Harvin. It's like, he's really, his route tree needs to expand. But as far as speed-wise,
You can
he
work
runs
on those things.
right. As far as speed-wise, he runs a 4.3. He can take the top off of defense. You can put him at wide receiver for, a limited, reps. And with that is I'm excited for that element, you know what I mean, because he's kind of reminds me of a Swiss Army knife that could do a little bit of everything. So when the trade went down, we was walking around outside of AT&T Stadium, and I was on Bleacher Report and it just said trade alert, but at that time it wasn't really official. It's like, wait a minute, Cowboys got Tavon Austin?
And
he's a former
apparently,
top 10 pick.
I heard the secret audio from when they called Tavon Austin, and
What?
apparently Scott Linehan, I think back when he was in Detroit, I believe he tried to get Tavon, but he got picked up by then was St. Louis at that time.
Yeah, number 8.
And they wanted him, so he's like, "Hey, I finally got you." So yet again, Scott Linehan is getting his guys in here. But hey,
look, I mean, I look with Tavon Austin is I felt like what kind of the reason why he just never really was able to be consistent and live up to his potential was Jeff Fisher.
right.
Jeff Fisher is
When you don't have
a coach that can
that can push you and help you grow, you're never going to succeed.
no, it's like Jeff Fisher. He just that's another episode. I can talk about Jeff Fisher all day. It's like for all intents and purposes, man, he just never learned how to.
Now I want to get on.
Average,
I want to get on
coach.
this trade with the Oakland Raiders and Switz.
Jahad Ward in the town.
Okay,
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad about it, but everybody knows Swiss cheese. That's what I call Switzer. Swiss cheese. That was my guy, and I was excited to see
It's
what.
sad to see him go.
It's sad to see him go.
But what we
because
picked up is more critical.
Okay, yeah. No, it's definitely because that's one problem I had with this whole entire draft. I'm sorry, but what was it, the 4th or 5th round?
Yeah.
Maurice Hurst is still on the board. I think it was 4th round,
Yeah,
right?
but it's like-
Maurice Hurst is still on the board. I just don't understand why you go. That's another reason why we thought the quarterback pick was bizarre, because we're sitting there like,
Mike White.
why would you go with a QB when Maurice Hurst is still
Well,
on the board?
they had Hurst on their draft board, but it came down to the heart issue.
Right.
Otherwise, he would have been. I had him as a top 15 selection. I thought he would have went right where.
But I
he'd have
kinda-
been the run Payne. The only reason why he slid down was because of the heart issue. But it came down to scheme fit, and it came down to concerns of his heart issue. So
You're right.
they
Which
feel
sucks
like
for the guy.
it does
feel bad
suck.
for him,
Yeah, you
but
feel bad
that's
for
But
him.
I feel
of
like
the
if
game.
he failed that at the combine, but then it was later released that he was medically cleared to
Cleared.
play. I just feel like, hey, if it's the 4th, 5th round, that's a steal, because let's just say this dude turns out to ball out for you. I just to me, it's just like we take chances on everything and everybody else. Hell, we took a chance on Jalen Smith when a lot of people said Jalen Smith would never play again.
Yeah,
with the injury he got. So I just LVE now, like Lady Van Ness. I mean, he had the
huge.
He had the neck injury, and people was like,
I can see why he needs a neck brace. That neck is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got a shoulder pad for a neck. You know what I'm saying? He could headbutt into a ram and live to tell the tale. You know what I'm saying?
But, I'm okay with them trading Swiss. I'm going to miss him. I felt like if we would have kept him this season, I've been saying this for the longest. Seeing what he did in college, I feel like Swiss is one of them guys. He may be small, but you can put him on the outside.
Yeah.
He has the speed to get away, and he could have made some plays for us. But needless to say, I'm happy about us finally addressing that DT position, because even in this draft, we got one or two edge rushers.
One.
Okay, we got one edge rusher,
but
we signed in free agency. We signed Conley Ely in free agency, another defensive tackle. You got D-Law, you got David Irving, you got Tyrone Crawford, you got Taco. You got all of these edge rushers. So to me, I'm just like, edge rusher is not our problem. I understand people say you can never have
too many pass rushers. What they trying to do is they trying to recreate the Legion of Boom in Seattle, where they rotated edge rushers. Keep them fresh. You get what I'm saying? You can never have too many edge rushers.
I get that too, but we can't not just sit there and not address the DT position.
Yeah, I get it. But look, I get it. But I'm just saying I agree with that sentiment. You can never have too many edge rushers. Now, if they had a scheme, if it was a scheme fit concern with Maurice Hurst, what that tells me, and you and I.
Oh yeah, we came to that conclusion.
We talked about this yesterday.
I honestly think that Chris Richard is showing himself. The first thing that happened when he was picked up as the passing game coordinator,
defensive backs coach.
I knew for a fact. I said, okay, he's gonna be Ryan Marinelli's successor. Everybody knows that. I think 2016 Ryan Marinelli was ready to retire. Jerry at that time felt like we was 1 year away. Like 2017 should have been our year.
Right.
And
Jerry and most of the people of Dallas.
I mean,
all hell broke loose.
So you couldn't blame him.
So Jerry, kind of gets him, hey, stay one more year.
Leaned on him a bit.
Yeah, one more year. Just stay one more year. Now it's at that situation where, okay, I think Marinelli's going to give us one more year, one or two, maybe 2 more years. Chris Richard is going to be that guy to take over. And the fact that they're shying away from getting 3 techs and they was looking at Vita Vea, which is a 1 tech, this makes me think that they're going to a cover 3 scheme.
Right.
And instead of the Tampa 2, which I'm happy about that.
Because that Tampa 2
is outdated. It's played out. We need some fresh because it's too predictable. So that's what leading me to believe that, hey, we're going into a cover 3 scheme coming in the final
where
years.
It requires a 1 tech at the defensive tackle position.
But getting back to the DT position itself, I kept saying, listen here, we can't keep getting edge rushers. Now, David Irving, he's one of them guys you can't throw in the middle, and we seen him just bulldoze people down.
He's an elephant.
It almost reminds me a lot of Charles Haley. Like, he could be an elephant. You could throw him. He could be on the end, or you can throw him in the middle, and he just wreaks havoc on that whole O-line. So that's what David Irving reminded me of. But I'm tired of. We see this is what happened with Tyrone Crawford. They keep flipping him. They put him in the middle, then they put him on the edge. They put him in the middle, then they put him on the edge. I think that's what's stunning his growth. Right. So it's just like, I'm tired of us taking these edge rushers and then trying to turn them into inside defensive tackles. I feel like we need to have a few defensive tackles that we know for a fact these are defensive tackles. We thought Stephen Pyatt was going to be that guy, and I thought so too until he retired because of the knee.
Yeah.
So, we see what Brian Price did. So I'm glad that we re-signed him, but we had to address that. So I'm glad that they did that with the Oakland Raiders. Speaking of the Oakland Raiders, their draft They got C in the first day, C second day.
Yeah, that was a lot of mixed reviews.
It was a lot of mixed reviews. Do you think that they're going to go through a transition? Because a lot of people are saying that, hey, well, the talking heads, I guess you can say, the ESPN guys, they're saying that in order for John Gruden to be warranted that kind of contract that he got earlier or last year or earlier this year,
Yeah.
that you got to win a Super Bowl within the next 3 to 5 years, you know?
And 10 years.
And is he drafting to do that?
And it's just like now you see what's happening because all them guys was there during the Del Rio aspect. So or Del Rio
Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, Jack Del Rio coaching.
Tenure.
Tenure. Thank you. I'm trying to think of the word.
That's the word.
So so you look at that, it's like, okay, now he's coming in, it's a new sheriff in town. So now he's coming in, so it's like I already said that they're going to regress because it's just like when you bring in a new coach, you're bringing in a whole new philosophy. Everybody know it takes about 3 to 5 years for a coach's philosophy to actually stick with the players, especially if you have a lot of players that came from a different coach, a different tenure. So now you're trying to change those players over into believing in you. Because if a player believes in you, they're going to play hard for you, you know? So it's going to take that. Not saying that nobody's not going to believe in John Gruden, because we already know the beast that John Gruden is as a coach. I wanted him here in Dallas, but that's besides the point.
Do you want him here in Dallas for that kind of money, though?
I mean, I don't care.
It's not fair from the salary cap.
If Jerry want to pay him $50 million, that's on him. I don't care about how much money he makes. It's everybody else that's got a problem with. Oh, he got a 10-year. That's $10 million a year.
I mean, John.
I'm not.
And it's gonna take that type of contract to get him out of the boot.
Out of the boot,
football, man.
Because it's just like, and then even people said if he had went to ESPN and said, hey, listen here, this is what the Raiders are offering me to come out of the booth and come back to coaching, ESPN probably would have gave him close to that kind of money. Right. It's the fact that he wanted to coach so bad. He missed the love of coaching and the love of football, you know? Right. As far as being a coach, being on the sideline, actually being in there and, you know, making a difference in that kind of way.
Which is why we might, even if Witten goes and does this Monday Night Football thing, he might, a few years later,
come to coaching,
pop back out. Who knows?
I mean, but what kind of coach? A tight ends coach? I mean, you don't really. That's sorry, but if anybody, if anybody is gonna come out of the booth coaching, it needs to be Romo. Yes, I think Romo has all. That's the Romo has all the.
He definitely has the IQ.
Is he allowed to do? Okay, so like during the off season, is he allowed to do training? Or
because John Gruden did. John Gruden did the quarterbacks camp for how many years?
For a number of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. While he was out of coaching, he was evaluating quarterbacks.
Oh, man, we should hit him up.
Yeah, like I think once Garrett goes, I will hope that Jerry will kind of, you know, because him and Romo that's his son almost.
Right.
So, you know, I will hope that he, you know, kind of, you know, pushes to, hey, let's get Romo in here to be a coach. Because I think with his kind of insight, you know, if Romo stayed another season, Dak would have been balling. Because he would have had that experience on the sideline. Like, listen here, you're not going to see this scheme. You're not going to see this scheme again for the rest of the game. You watch this. Watch how they look.
Right, watch that, yeah.
Watch your foot placement. Remember to step through your throws. Things like that is what made Dak's rookie season great. You know?
Yeah, because he had Romo in his ear.
Even had head ass in his ear too. You know, giving a couple of
Garrett.
I'm sorry, what?
No, I was talking about Sanchez. You know,
head ass,
butt fumble, head into ass,
butt fumble.
Yeah, butt fumble. You know, he even had them. I mean, hopefully we'll see what Kellen Moore can do. As far as they say, his IQ is impeccable.
I think he's going to be
John Gruden even said his IQ is impeccable.
I think he's going to be a better coach than he was a player. Kellen Moore. I'm on record to say that. I think he's going to be a good quarterback coach, and I know that he can't wait to learn from him. Right. Because his IQ is up there. Now, you know,
Dak's the one that pushed to get him.
Yeah. I mean, his IQ. That's one thing I'm not going to argue with Kellen Moore is his IQ. His IQ is way up there when it comes to the quarterback position. He just didn't have the body. He definitely didn't have an arm. He had a spaghetti noodle for an arm, you know. But I think he'll be a good quarterbacks coach for Dak. So, yeah, I mean.
So, of course, we never know how these picks are going to turn out. But what teams out of all 32 teams, what teams have the most promising futures with the picks that they made?
I like the San Diego. I was about to say San Diego. I like the Los Angeles Chargers.
That's never going to be normal, is it?
No, like having two teams in LA, no. But I like the Los Angeles Chargers. I like what they did getting Derwin James, fixing the interior of that defense because they got ran up the gut, last year. I like their draft. I like them. I definitely like them getting Kaiser White later in the draft. I actually sent tape to you. To you on that.
Right,
that he could be another Cam Chancellor.
Right.
Decent in pass coverage. Will get up and lay the wood on you. I thought their draft was good.
The Packers are rated highly. 2 cornerbacks. They replaced Jordy Nelson with Equanimeous St. Brown. They got a few solid wide receivers. I think they definitely have a case for doing something real with their picks.
And I also like Denver's draft as well. Getting Bradley Chubb, you pair him on the outside with all-pro linebacker Von Miller. I mean, that pass rush is going to be even more deadly. You know what I mean? And you rotate Shane Ray in there as well. And then getting Cortland Sutton in a second. Getting another running back in Royce Freeman to replace C.J. Anderson. Deshaun Hamilton, the wide receiver out of Penn State. I like that. And then getting Josie Jewell, another linebacker. And then, they got another tight end in Troy Fumagalli. The tight end out of Wisconsin. So I thought their draft was impeccable as well because, Chubb was the best value on the board for this team. And, they actually had a trade. They actually had a pre-proposed trade with Buffalo to move back to number 12. They was going to move back to number 12 because Buffalo was headstrong to get into that top 5 to take Josh Allen. But when Bradley Chubb was there, it's like, you know what?
We got to do this.
Yeah, Buffalo, I'm sorry, man, but
I'm going to go off the deep end. I'm going to say that I like the Browns draft this
I mean,
year.
yeah, the Browns.
I
You
think
can't argue that
no,
they
you can't argue
drafted really, really
Good-
well.
good play.
they drafted really well.
It's easy to draft well when you have 2 first-round picks and,
I mean, yes, but I'm
67
just
other people in the
I mean,
draft.
this is the Browns we're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is the Browns we're talking about. But I don't know about other people, but I'm excited to see this new wave of the Cleveland Browns. I'm excited to see what they can do. They're no longer going to be the 0-16.
They're going to win a lot more games.
They're going to win a lot more games. I'm not saying
However,
that.
they didn't get rid of their... I can't believe you keep your head coach after a 0-16 season. I'm frankly stunned.
Right.
But, whatever. I don't think they'll be
They're not
as bad. They're
not
certainly
gonna-
going to do a lot better.
They're gonna do a lot
when
better.
You don't
I don't
make
see
changes
they're
at
not
the
gonna
top,
be. Yeah, they're not gonna be God tier, but you can't deny. I don't care how bad coaching is. When you start getting some playmakers on your team, they gonna will their team to win.
And then,
Think
they got a good coaching staff in Cleveland now. I mean, you got Ken Zampese, the quarterback, so he works with quarterbacks. They got Todd Haley. The offensive coordinator they got from Pittsburgh, he's worked with quarterbacks. He's taken offenses to higher levels. Hugh Jackson is a quarterback whisperer. So if they was going to draft Mayfield, this is the perfect situation for him to be in because you don't have to start him right away. Tyrod Taylor is going to be that bridge quarterback, So they're not pressured to start him right away.
Kind of let him get his feet wet.
Right. I do think, however, about week 6, you will see Mayfield starting.
Yeah. You just want to make sure he's comfortable.
Right. When he was getting. And then Denzel Ward, I mean, I still think that was a bit of a reach because Bradley Chubb was there, and I felt like he would have been the better pick at number 4. But if Denzel Ward winds up being a Terrence Newman clone, it could turn out to be a good pick. So can't argue with it because Denzel Ward was the number 1 cornerback coming into this draft.
Yeah, without question. I think also Denver had a really good one.
Yeah, I mentioned Denver. I
like Denver.
Chargers.
I like what they did. I would say this. Overall, a lot of teams got really good. We saw a couple of reaches, but we didn't just see some outlandish stuff that just made us go like crazy. Like, oh snap! What the heck's going on?
We didn't see no Christian Ponders getting drafted at number 12. No.
But overall, I'll say this in the whole going to the draft. Even though we went on day 3, I think it was still just a great experience.
Absolutely.
You know, we even met up with some YouTubers. Shout out to Mark Holmes. Shout out to Foots the King.
Wish we could have hung out with you a little bit more.
Yeah, wish we could have hung out with y'all a little bit longer. Wishing we would have got there a little bit earlier so we could have picked y'all brains on football. But
I was hoping to meet Voch.
Yeah. I was hoping to see Voch there too, because that guy right there, that dude is intelligent. I mean, when it comes to football, that dude is intelligent. Yeah, but it was just an overall great experience. Having the draft here in Dallas, and it just shows how we show out. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people come down here, people don't really think of Dallas as being that city, you know,
right,
and stuff like that. When it comes to our football and stuff like that,
we're there.
We're there
in spades.
And think about it. Everybody was coming into town at our stadium, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, all the new things. Like, come on. Like, I just hope that, okay, last season, Philly had the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hopefully it sprinkles some good luck on us.
Yeah.
We had a great draft, so hopefully it sprinkles some good luck on us. That's all I'm saying.
You know, kind of wanted to put a pitchfork to us. I mean, hey, that could wind up being the good luck that we need. Who knows?
Oh, before we get out of here, let's talk about what's that Josh Rosen they're talking about? There was 9 mistakes made before me.
Yeah.
Dude, you're gonna get your ass lit up.
No, don't get me wrong.
You jinxed it, sir.
Don't get me wrong. I like that attitude, man, dude. It's
okay to have that attitude
and
have that attitude, but you keep that shit to yourself.
Right.
You don't just. Sorry.
I ain't hating on the guy. It's sort of.
I like
fun.
that. I like that attitude. I'm just saying.
Okay, yeah.
If there's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek aspect, at least, then you could. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay,
like, cool.
it's fun. It's fun until you.
But you're right.
Until you get your ass handed to you, and then the freaking DT is getting up talking about it's gonna be a long day, boy. It's gonna be a long day.
It's no different than Peyton Manning telling the coach back in '98 that if you don't draft me number 1 overall, I'm gonna kick your ass for the next 15 years. No different than Peyton Manning telling the coach that. So I didn't have a problem.
Yeah, but he
that.
wasn't calling nobody no mistake. That's you betting on yourself.
You
basically saying that all the other picks, all the other teams made dumbass mistakes because I'm the best player in this draft. Yep. You know, he wasn't. If Peyton
Mayfield had that type of attitude as well, and look what that got him. It got him to number 1 overall, being the number 1 overall pick.
Is Mayfield the kind of character, the kind of attitude that we're like, yeah, that guy, he has
some moxie to him. Right. He has some mojo to him.
Right.
So yeah, you could say Mayfield was the same way because he came out from the start of this draft process. He said, I'm the best quarterback in this draft, and look where it got him.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall. So I like that.
You gotta kind of have it.
You gotta. You can't.
But you can't be sitting there. You can't. It's a way of doing it. It's a way to be cocky, but at the same time be charming with it too. Yep. You know. Right. This comment by Josh Rosen is just sounds like a stupidity. You know?
I mean, tongue in cheek, like Evan said, yo. I mean,
when he gets his ass handed to him, I'm not saying that
we all gonna be laughing.
We're gonna be like, see,
or maybe he'll prove.
Maybe he'll prove wrong.
Right.
Hopefully, he takes Sam Bradford's
position. That dude steady gets paid.
I know, right? He gets paid to get his foot broken twice a year. You know, I mean, come on. Nah, but overall, it was a great draft.
Also, big shout out to law enforcement and all the city of Dallas set this up perfectly. I felt like everything went smoothly.
Yes.
Security was a breeze. They had more than enough booths to check everybody.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job logistically getting everything.
So hopefully, shoot, you know what's next? We gotta have the Super Bowl here again.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's coming. Because
Oh,
there's
yeah,
only
yeah.
too many. It's only so many big stadiums around.
Right.
So eventually, it's coming back.
Right.
You know,
I'm
and
definitely
just-
trying to get tickets to those.
Yeah. So
Wishful thinking. Wishful thinking.
you might win a ticket on the other side of town in a bar somewhere. Yeah, but this just shows you got all these people just coming together for the love of football. You know. And it just shows how all of us love this sport.
You know how
so
people
much.
say baseball is everybody's favorite America's pastime.
America's pastime, right, yeah,
pastime.
yeah.
I feel like football is in that same stratosphere as well.
Yeah. And I mean, it just shows when you think of football, it's essentially bringing together a group of guys from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, different upbringings. You bringing all these guys together to come on one accord and reach one goal. And it teach you how to I think that's what we have lost with the glamorous NFL and these big high paid contracts. Football, when you think about it, it's teaching, when you're playing Pop Warner, it's teaching you how to come together with your fellow teammates, face adversity, and push hard and work hard to reach a goal, you know? Mm-hmm. And so
The ultimate team sport.
it's the ultimate team sport. You know, you can have basketball and it's about one guy. You need, if one person on the football team does something wrong, it could change the whole course of the rest of the team, you know, or the rest of the game plan. So I'm just saying, I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed talking about this draft. I think this is the first draft where I think I've really gotten deep off into it. Right. You know, I'm not a big prospects guy. I'm not a big college football guy. But I think overall, I think this draft was great for every team. You know, it was just a lot of quality players that came out this time around. So shout out to everybody that we met out at the draft or whatever. Shout out to you guys for checking us out and listening. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to be back to regular scheduling program next week. But again, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to our draft recap. As always, you can find us on all of our social medias: Facebook at The Leg Podcast, Instagram at The Leg Podcast, Twitter at The Leg Podcast. If y'all want to email us, it's thelegpodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up, ask us questions. We're on there. We always respond. Also, if you want to check us out on YouTube, we're at youtube.com/TMC Network. And if you're following us on SoundCloud, if you're listening to us on SoundCloud, if you're listening to us on Stitcher, Google Play, or iTunes, go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. And please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We want to get everybody over here so we all can continue to have this discussion about life, culture, anything and everything. As always, we want to thank y'all. We're The Leg Podcast.
I'm LA.
I'm Evan.
And I'm German to be the host. And we're going to see y'all next week here. This is The Leg Podcast. Peace.
Hi, this is Evan of The Leg Podcast. Tune in every Monday on the TMC Network.